The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. They say the law is a shield for the innocent. But in Africa, we must ask, whose shield is it? Today, the gavel dropped in East London, and the echoes are being felt from the Cape to Cairo. Julius Malema, the commander-in-chief, has been sentenced to 5 years in prison. Why? Because they say 2018 Julius Malema fired an armed rifle in the air, and it is against the laws in South Africa. 5 counts: unlawful possession of a firearm, unlawful ammunition, reckless endangerment. The court calls it criminality. Malema calls it a political hit job. But this isn't just about a rifle fired in a stadium 8 years ago. This is about the very soul of African democracy in a legal system many believe is still hunting the black man while the ghosts of the past walk free. If you are new here, this is the latest Dojin One, a Pan-African channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to become a member of the channel. The state wanted 15 years. They got 5. The magistrate ruled that a celebrated shot is no excuse for breaking the law. But the EFF asks a question that stops the room. Why is it that when a black man stands for land, for economic freedom, and for the dignity of the deposed, the law suddenly finds its teeth?
Stated are equal before law, but in your instance, it cannot be said that you are not accountable due to the position you find yourself in. You are accountable to members or citizens of this country, to your followers, to the youth, and that accountability stems from your position. And that is where I'm going to end this. You may please stand up. Not the court only. Sorry. Maybe I should be clear. Okay. Sorry for that. Alright. After careful consideration, and I can show you I have done so, free of any interference, this judgment or sentence is the sentence of this court and this court alone. In respect of count 1, you are sentenced to a period of 5 years imprisonment. In respect of count 2, you are sentenced to a period of 2 years imprisonment. In respect of count 3, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 4, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 5, you are sentenced to pay a fine of 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In terms of section 280, subsection 2 of Act 51 of 1977, the court orders that the sentence imposed in respect of counts 2, 3, 4 and 5 run concurrent with the sentence imposed in respect of count 1. You may be seated, thank you. May we, Advocate Otis, sorry John, not to interrupt you, may we just deal with the section 103 inquiry and then we can proceed to that part. I assume you are ready for that part as soon as we've dealt with the 103 inquiry. Certainly. Okay. Let me just find my notes here. Just as a brief explanation to unless it's not clear, the next step of this sentence is that the court is obliged to deal with the provisions of section 103, subsection 1 of Act 60 of 2000 meaning that the determination of unfitness, as I've explained in the beginning of the sentence, should not be made separately before sentencing, as information relevant to such fitness may emerge during the process of mitigation or circumstances, and the inquiry in terms of section 103(1) Act 60 of 2000, since in terms of section 1, the accused is deemed unfit to possess a firearm or license in future by virtue of having been convicted of a crime specified in section 103 subsection 1 of Act 60 of 2000, and reasons may therefore be advanced or evidence presented to enable the court to consider the possibility of determining otherwise. So, Advocate Holders, no submissions. Thank you. Advocate Caesar, on behalf of the state. Due to the reasons provided by court during sentence, and that we are dealing with unlawful possession, due to the virtue of the nature of the offences, the court therefore makes no otherwise order, and you remain to be deemed unfit, and it is followed by the following further order by court, that section 103 subsection 1, read with the provisions of section 104 of Act 60 of 2000, the accused then remains to be deemed unfit, and the effect of the declaration of unfitness is as follows. All competency certificates, licenses, authorization and permit issued in terms of this Act to any person who becomes or is declared unfit to possess a firearm in terms of section 102 and 103 cease to be valid from the date of the conviction or the declaration, as the case may be. B, despite the noting of an appeal against the decision of a court or the registrar, the status of unfitness contemplated in paragraph A remains in effect pending the finalization of the appeal. Further, a person who becomes or is declared unfit to possess a firearm in terms of section 102 or 102.3 of Act 60 of 2000 must within 24 hours surrender to the nearest police station all competency certificates, licenses, authorizations and permits issued to him or her in terms of this Act, all firearms in his or her possession and all ammunition in his or her possession. Therefore, further it should be noted that subject to the provisions of subsection 9, subsection 3, subsection B, and after a period of 5 years calculated from the date of the decision leading to the status of unfitness to possess a firearm, the person who became or becomes or deemed and declared unfit to possess a firearm may apply for a new competency certificate, license, authorization or permit in accordance with the provisions of this Act, being Act 60 of 2000, the Firearms Control Act.
An application for leave to appeal, the High Court of South Africa had a division of the Grahamstown against the whole of the judgment convicting the accused of firstly unlawful possession of a firearm in contravention of Section 3 of the Firearms Control Act 60 of 2000, to wit a .223 Narinka rifle and or a firearm the make of which is unknown to the state without holding a license, permit or authorization. The second count, Your Worship, that we seek leave to appeal against is unlawful possession of ammunition in contravention of Section 90 of the Firearm Control Act 60 of 2000, to wit a .223 Remington bullet without holding a license, permit, dealer's license, manufacturer's license, gunsmith's license, import or export or transit license, or other authorization to do so. third count, Your Worship, is unlawful discharge of a firearm in a built-up area or any other place in contravention of Section 120 sub 7 of the Firearms Control Act 60 of 2000, to wit the CSEC Lukashi Stadium in Lansani. The fourth count, Your Worship, is unlawful failure to take reasonable precautions to avoid danger to personal property in contravention of Section 120 sub 3 sub C of the Firearms Control Act 60 of 2000, in that the accused of control of a loaded firearm, to wit a .223 Marinka rifle, and or a firearm the make of which is unknown to the state, in circumstances where it created a risk to the safety or property of the general public, attending the 5th Economic Freedom Fighters celebration. And finally, the fifth count, Your Worship, is reckless endangerment to a person or property in contravention of Section 120 sub 3 sub B of the Firearms Control Act 60 of 2000, in that the accused unlawfully discharged or otherwise handled the firearm, to wit a .223 Narinka rifle, and or a firearm the make of which is unknown to the state, in a manner likely to injure or endanger the safety or property of the general public attending the Economic Freedom Fighters celebration, residents of Mdansani and the employees of Gear House, with reckless disregard for the safety or property of the general public attending the 5th Economic Freedom Fighters celebration, the residents of Mdansani and Gear House.
When you look at the second reason why they say Mr. Malema should go to prison, there is a disjuncture between what the state says and what the court found. You can't do this. You can't send somebody to prison for reasons that the judge did not find him guilty of. So this is the problem now with item 2 firearms, 22 live rounds before 20,000 people. So in other words, the correct postulation is one bullet in a stadium of 20,000 people. One. That's the correct postulation. And then ask yourself, in those circumstances, should I send this man to prison? And it's so absurd that they say, don't only send him to prison, send him to prison for 15 years. It's like a game that they're playing. It's a game to inflame the passions of the public. We obviously take into account that Mr. Malema must bear responsibility as a leader in society. We don't run away from that. But it's precisely because of that factor that we say, if you actually look at the fact that he has been criminally charged, it's a public trial that he's been undergoing. The fact that since the day of the charge, there is not even an allegation that he has ever attempted anything to do with the possession of a firearm. The fact that even before he was charged with these offenses, there is not an inkling that Mr. Malema had a propensity to possess firearms or to discharge them openly and publicly, recklessly, as the state tries to argue today. And the fact that the public trial itself has a shaming effect on the public representative. It has a shaming effect on the public representative because already people are saying, oh, well, why should he not lose his seat in Parliament? Why should he not lose his seat in the JSC? And the fact that, my ladies, the fourth part of it, is that we are not asking for a no punishment. We are simply asking for a non-custodial punishment. And no one can sensibly say that other forms of punishment do not constitute punishment, which is the zero-sum argument posited by the state. There is only one punishment as far as that concerned, is custodial. So what we say, my ladies, is that you have a range of penal options that would reflect the society's disapproval of, I would say, public misconduct by public representatives. And the custodial penalty, in fact, achieves...
In respect of count 1, you are sentenced to a period of 5 years imprisonment. In respect of count 2, you are sentenced to a period of 2 years imprisonment. In respect of count 3, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 4, you are sentenced to 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In respect of count 5, you are sentenced to pay a fine of 20,000 rand or to undergo 6 months imprisonment. In terms of section 280, subsection 2 of Act 51 of 1977, the court orders that the sentence imposed in respect of counts 2, 3, 4 and 5 run concurrent with the sentence imposed in respect of count 1. You may be seated, thank you.
So Julius Malema was sentenced to 5 years in jail, and his crime was illegal firearm possession, which means that he had a gun which is not registered, by the way, an illegal gun. According to the news sources, because of that, they sentenced him to 5 years in prison. I know that they are going to appeal these things, but are you telling me that they are sentencing a political figure like him to 5 years in prison? Where are black South Africans? I mean, there are people there in South Africa today who committed crimes against black people. Black people who have been shot dead by the apartheid police officers. Those police officers and those leaders who committed those crimes against the black people, they are still living in South Africa. They are having their freedom. They do not have to stand even a single day in front of the court. So you are telling me that they are sentencing Julius Malema for an illegal firearm possession. This is one of the jokes. I mean, but where are the black South Africans? I mean, where are the politicians? Black politicians in South Africa. You see, if you are not united, put your differences aside. Don't let people squeeze you out from your brothers. This is the only thing that will always happen across the African continent. Because you cannot tell me that, you know, a country that still majority of the land is still owned by minority. They were the one also, you know, who shot dead some black people as well. And today they are the one who are sentencing a black figure like Julius Malema to jail. Where is the president, Cyril Ramaphosa? Where are other black leaders in the parliaments? Regardless of your party, regardless of, like, this is one of the most insane video that I have came across today. And yeah, there are black South Africans who are celebrating these things, that they are sentencing Julius Malema to prison. Could you imagine this madness? Those who unalive the black people are still there. They do not stand even one day in front of the court in South Africa. They stole the wealth, land from the black people. They are still there. But they can sentence Julius Malema because of illegal firearm possession. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think. This is crazy on the African continent in 2026.
These people never want to see a leader in Africa that will rise to unite the people in Africa. We see the democracy brought to our shores. It was promised to be our liberation, but for many, it has become a cage. A democracy that protects the status quo, protects the land owners, and protects the system built during the darkest days of our history. They said what Julius Malema did is against democracy because he is a leader, and for that matter, he must be picked up. Let's talk about the justice gap across the continent. We see the pattern. The law works with surgical precision against the black man who challenges the system. Yet, where is this same energy for the architects of economic apartheid? Where is the jail time for those who stole the wealth of this land? The white man walks freely in the boardroom while the black man is shackled for a symbolic act at a rally. If democracy means the selective application of pain, then is it democracy at all? Or it is just apartheid with a new coat of paint? Africans, this is why the unification of Africa is no longer a dream. It is a necessity for survival. As long as our judicial systems are carbon copies of colonial courts, we will never see true justice. We need a decolonized judicial system, an African system that understands our history, our struggle, and our collective destiny. A system that doesn't seek to silence the voices of the people, but to protect the progress of the continent. This is what the leaders in Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are fighting for. Malema is out on warning. The appeal is coming, but the message is clear. The front line isn't just in the court. It is in the streets. the minds and the hearts of every African who is tired of being second-class citizen in their own home. They can sentence a man, but they can never sentence a movement. They can sentence a man, but they can never sentence a movement. They can lock up a leader, but they can never lock up hunger for land and freedom. The question isn't whether Malema is guilty. The question is, when will the system that judges him finally be put on trial? Africa must unite. Africa must be free. And our laws must finally belong to us. Until we do this, we'll continue to be at the mercy of other people. And this was the message Captain Ibrahim Traoré was trying to pass when he decided to dissolve the political parties in Burkina Faso. And Julius Malema didn't understand and came out condemning Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso and Captain Ibrahim Traoré, because these are the things they're using to divide us. Whenever it comes for them to use to their benefit, they always go democracy on the African. And because we believe in this system, they will always use the system to divide the African and to change the African. And if we continue to allow these people, we'll continue to be struggling. We'll continue to be at the mercy of these people. We are asking for reparation. We are asking for the injustice done unto the African to be brought to book. The people who stole our resources, our wealth, to pay back. Yet the world is silent. Yet the world is silent. Yet their democracy is silent. So why should the African continue to accept a system that was imposed on us by our colonizer? A system that do not understand us and a system we do not understand. If truly we are sovereign people fighting for the unification of Africa, then we must be fighting for the African own rules and regulations, the African own system of governance before we can be free. We need to fight for our own, that which understands us. And that you and I must come together to fight for. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, Southern Africa, and in South Africa.